Welcome back once again, friends. We are in lesson number 62. In the last few lessons, we have been looking at graphic effects and how we can use them to create some really stunning animations and effects in Scratch. Right now, to continue with that same progression, let's say we will look at something called the pixelate effect in this video. Basically, pixelate effect is a very interesting effect which will make your images, which means your sprites or your backdrops, appear like small pixels, right? So it's as though it goes blur out of focus, and then you can bring it back in focus, right? So for this purpose, let me see here. I've got a very simple project. I've got a cat sprite and say a backdrop of castle. Let's see the effect of castle because it's a big image. It's easier to see. So for example, let's say I go and say, when the flag is clicked, I say looks, and I go and say set pixelate effect, which means I drop down and say pixelate effect, let's say to say 100, right? And if I did this, notice what happens. My entire castle appears like small pixels. Notice I can see the small pixels, the small squares in this, and the image appears quite blurred, right? But now if let's say I want to bring it back in focus, it's not hard. I can put a, let's say, a repeat loop, right, which means I'll repeat it for a certain number of times, and I'll say wait for say 0.1 seconds, and this time I'll say change pixelate effect by say -10. Right now, the reason I'm doing it this way is that I want that at the end of this loop, I am basically 10 times 10 is 100, so I'll be back at 0, right? So the entire pixelate effect would have been taken out, and once I do this, notice what happens. I can see that the image sharpens up and I see the entire image, those pixels are gone, right? And like I said, this I showed on the backdrop, but you can also apply to a sprite. So let's take the cat sprite, for example. Let's go in the other direction. Say I said, when the flag is clicked, let's say, so when flag is clicked, I'll say set pixelate effect to say 0, which means, cat starts like the normal. Thereafter, let's say I repeat 10 times, which means I do this 10 times. I just say wait for 0.1 seconds. Again, these numbers are just to illustrate, right? And I'll say change pixelate effect, let's say by, so let's say change pixelate effect by say 10, right? So use pixelate effect, I'll say change it by 10. And if I did this, notice what happens to the cat. Cat also starts to blur out, right? And it looks quite nice. Notice our cat went one direction and the background went another direction, and you can clearly see how useful this could be in your projects, right? So go ahead and use this. Again, this is a beautiful graphic effect, right? I hope you found this useful. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye bye.